Greetings and welcome once again to the Gaming Codex, a show right to explain to you all the various words and terms used to describe video games in the video games industry. And today's term is that of Git Gud. According to some definition, it means to get better, to get good. The origins of this meme, I guess, are buried deep within the ancient days of the PlayStation 3's Metal Gear Online community, where it was used as a way of telling people to get better at playing the game, of course misspelled because it's how the internet works. That is how the cat can has cheeseburger instead of the cat having proper grammar. It would have remained buried, probably only used in some fringe cases of communities now and again, were it not to have become quite popular in the quite vocal Dark Souls community, where it was often transformed from something that was mostly about telling people to try and play the game better to more of an insult, if you will, that it's not the game's fault for having issues, it is the user's fault for not being able to play the game properly, and therefore they should get good, they should learn, they should practice more, they should be able to accept that it's a feature, not a bug, and thusly become a master of the game. Get good has connotations that really vary depending on who it's coming from and who it's directed at and how those people interpret it themselves. In itself, it's a phrase that can mean anything. It can be a jab between friends, a simple joke, a playful expression uttered in order to encourage somebody that's down on their luck to try again and maybe they'll get it this time. And on the other side of the coin, it can mean that you don't deserve to play this game as it is. You're gonna have to do penitence by trying to run something that was obviously broken from the get-go and somehow believe that it's your fault for not being able to play something that's broken, which sort of leads us into the popular definition of Git Good, which is AMG, you're the noobzor, misspelled for effect. Usually on the web, when this phrase is uttered to total strangers, it is mostly with the idea that, oh my god, you suck, get out of here, uninstall the game already, you have nothing in common with this game, so you should probably just quit. Even though I'm actually telling you to try and play better, I actually mean that you should quit playing it. It's not for you. I know there's some doublethink in there because, again, Git Good would presume that you were trying to improve and that would mean that you should keep playing, but on the other hand, it also means that you're undesired in this community. It's one of those expressions that, even though it is quite neutral and it can mean anything depending on context and who said it, you generally know what it means and who said it and why. Which leads us to the marketing definition, and that is, the game doesn't have input latency, mouse acceleration, horrible frame rate, and physics bugs you could drive a truck through backwards at 900 kilometers an hour. It's hardcore, you have to get good at it. Thankfully, it is not currently being used by the broader side of the video games industry as a marketing tactic, since usually the industry at large wants as big of an audience as possible, and making a game that you consistently have to get good at is not what you would call a recipe for success, since people have limited time and really don't want to spend all their time in a single game that they can't even enjoy unless they spend a lot of time into while getting better at it. It is however used by smaller independent studios, I wouldn't say independent, but smaller companies that sometimes, not even companies, but individuals, sometimes that make games that are just atrocious and not even atrocious, but they have problems and they don't want to address those problems. And because they don't want to address those problems, they use Git Good as a defense, and because there is a segment of the population that enjoys games with high difficulty, even though the difficulty comes from horrible physics or, I don't know, bounding boxes the size of shipping containers, they will latch onto the Git Good sentiment that is being emanated by the developer and will propagate it, which will lead to stomping out any sort of criticism regarding to the way the game is played or the way the game is playable, and inevitably it will actually be quite detrimental to the game. Now, I'm not singling out Dark Souls or the other one that I played like crap a couple of days ago. I'm referring to MMOs as well, Mortal Online specifically. I vividly remember trying to give feedback on seeing other people trying to give feedback on Mortal Online like 9-10 years ago, and everybody that said, well, the crafting is kind of dull and repetitive. I mean, I have to, craft a bow by killing X number of foxes. Couldn't there be a funner way to do it? Those people would be absolutely murdered on the forums. They would be, well, it would be like claiming you're for diversity in video games in a gaming thread on most gaming related websites and forums and stuff. You know, it's the evil thing. You would be treated like you're an invader, like you're the enemy, like you're an outsider, and you have to accept the game for what it is. You do not get to improve upon it with your suggestions. It comes from a mentality that it's perfect as it is, and that's not true. It's never perfect. And that's valid for even games that I like Dark Souls 3. It's enjoyable. They fixed pretty much everything that was wrong with the previous two games in terms of controls, in terms of movement for the most part, but the physics in that game are still horrible. I mean, monsters can just shoot you through the wall. Your bounding box is still the size of a cargo ship. There's still improvement to be made in order to actually, you know, make you feel like it's worth getting good at it. But every time somebody says get good, you kinda understand the message. The game's not gonna improve. Stop asking for it. You're being entitled. And this is coming from people that are usually accused of being entitled. And fundamentally, it kinda subverts the whole concept of giving feedback to improve a game, which I know that some developers, well, the bigger ones, would really like. So closes another edition of the Gaming Codex. Come back next time when we will talk about a brand new subject. Goodbye.